Book of the Dead becoming God in ancient Egypt. Human remains. Lady from Akhmim. It is believed that these individuals were buried in a necropolis at the site of Akhmim, a city near the center of Egypt famous for its cult dedicated to the god Min. Akhmim is well known among scholars today for having a specific tradition for producing Book of the Dead manuscripts. These manuscripts often contained unique spells and sequences of spells not found in traditions from Memphis and Thebes, as well as an unusual number of corruptions caused by copying from the same defective master copies. Unfortunately, we do not have any papyri or inscribed linen fragments associated with this woman from Akhmim. Her coffin was painted with black and white decorations, while a mummy mask and sections of cartonnage decorated with funerary images were positioned on the outside of the linen wrappings. The foot case remains intact and shows a row of protective deities, holding knives around the ankles and two images of Anubis as a jackal lying on a shrine over the feet. On the bottom appears a painting of the soles of her sandals. Based on court scans of her remains, it appears that this woman lived to an elderly age, and probably died as the result of complications from some catastrophic event. Many fractures were present, but healing indicates that the injuries were not immediately fatal. The extent and pattern of the injuries suggest a specific scenario near the end of her life. In addition to these acute changes, she may have suffered from additional chronic issues, such as bone loss, and her teeth were in rather poor condition. Today her mummy is partially unwrapped, exposing the head and upper chest. The arms were crossed over the chest, although often interpreted as a sign of royalty. This arm position could be taken by private individuals as well. Arms crossed over the chest mimicked the gesture of Osiris as he held the crook and the flail, both symbols of his rulership in the netherworld. The mummy was partially unwrapped at some point in the late 19th or early 20th century when such practices were common. No additional objects were found inside the wrappings during recently performed court scanning. The body was wrapped in several layers of high-quality linen bandages. The visible bandages of this lady from Akhmim were uninscribed, but it was very common for Book of the Dead spells to be written on shrouds or bandages and wrapped around the body. Such a practice symbolically wrapped the body in a magical cocoon, helping to ensure its protection while simultaneously keeping the spells closest to the body in case they were needed in the afterlife. References to the mummy, an Egyptian pun on the word for noble, in the Book of the Dead make clear the importance of protecting and empowering it. In BD 45, a spell to prevent rotting in the necropolis, the deceased equates themselves with Osiris, saying, "I am Osiris." According to Egyptian mythology, the body parts of Osiris were brought together, and wrapped into a mummiform figure by his sister Isis. Each individual mummy was produced in imitation of that mythological precedent in the hopes that the deceased, like Osiris, would be rejuvenated in the afterlife and join the retinue of gods. Book